Call the City Council the meeting to order. Please join, that's 8 o'clock on Monday, November 13th. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would ask our colleagues to remain standing. We lost a member of our City Council family. Colleen Kerrigan, wife of our City Clerk Steve Kerrigan, passed unexpectedly this weekend. I would ask the councilors for a moment of silence for Colleen. Thank you very much. Be seated. We have 14 items on this evening's agenda, and I will ask the City Clerk to please read agenda item number 1.
Minutes, City Council meeting, October 23rd, 2023.
Councilor Dumas.
Move to accept and place on file.
Motion is made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed 10-0. Agenda item number 2.
Communication from Council President Ossing regarding notice of reappointment of Michael Ossing as a member of OPEB Board of Trustees pursuant to order number 13-100-5335C.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, move to accept and place on file.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 10-0. Agenda item number 3.
Communication from the Mayor regarding grant acceptances from the Executive Office for Administration and Finance in the amount of $60,000 to be used to conduct a formal wage and classification plan, and also in the amount of $8,700 to be used to conduct an organizational review and analysis of current processes and procedures of the Human Resources Department.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant.
Motion made and seconded to approve both grants. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I just wanted to say this is welcoming news. These grants, in my view, are needed. We've spoke before about the type of human resource needs that we have, including making sure job descriptions and wages are where they need to be. Hopefully we can retain our employees, and we're competitive with the surrounding towns. So I was very happy when I saw these grants, and I want to thank our HR Director, John Harmon, for working towards it with all the other people involved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Oram. Any other discussion on the motion to approve the grants? Seeing none, on the motion to approve, all those in favor? Opposed? The grants are approved 10-0. Agenda item number 4.
Communication from the Mayor regarding grant acceptances from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security and from the U.S. Justice Department Office of the Justice Programs in the amount of $59,840 to be used for traffic enforcement measures focusing on impaired driving, speeding, distracted driving, and seatbelt safety, and also in the amount of $16,906 to be used to replace outdated equipment.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant.
Motion made and seconded to approve both grants. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Both grants are approved 10-0. Agenda item number 5.
Communication from the Mayor regarding grant acceptance in the amount of $1,350,000 from the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities awarded to the Community Development Authority to be used for infrastructure upgrades and reconstruction of Winthrop Street.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to approve the grant, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the grant. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The grant is approved 10-0. Agenda item number 6.
Communication from the Mayor regarding transfer requests in the amount of $1,115,294, which move funds from meals tax revenue account to fund FY24 bond payments associated with parks and recreation improvements.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a reminder, the Council approved the FY23 transfer request on the floor that evening. My motion tonight is to approve the transfer in the amount of $1,115,294 from local options meal tax revenue account to fund FY 2024 bond payments associated with parks and recreation improvements, please.
Motion made and seconded to approve the transfer. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Oram.
Just a note, and I've talked about this before with the meals tax. It looks like they're increasing, so that's a good sign of the economy in my view, as well as hopefully we're over the COVID years when things were a little bit not as great. But I just want to note that someday we should chart these out and see how that curve goes. It seems to be going up, which is a good thing. Thank you.
That's good. We got people going out to eat in the restaurants, which is a good thing. Any other discussion on the motion for the transfer? Councilor Landers.
Just an interesting comment. I looked over the figures. I think mid-pandemic, it was about 140,000 for the quarter, and I think this quarter ending September 30th was 340,000. So, you know, it's a big thing. That's right. The pandemic, you know, changed a lot of things, but I think we're back on track, though. You're right, Councilor.
Thank you, Councilor Landers. Any other comments or discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the transfer? Opposed? The transfer is approved, 10-0. Agenda item number 7.
Communication from the mayor regarding proposed tax increment financing agreement with Sartorius, a global biopharmaceutical company with plans to create the Sartorius North American Center for Bioprocess Solutions at 200 Donald J. Lynch Boulevard.
Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to refer to the Finance Committee.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Finance Committee. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just want to say that this is more examples on how we are business-friendly, specifically with biotech, and I hope that there's more opportunities like this coming by. So it's a great opportunity for businesses and the community of Marlborough in general.
Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Any other comments or questions from the councilors on the motion to refer to the Finance Committee? All those in favor? Opposed? It's going to Finance, 10-0. Agenda item number 8.
Communication from the Planning Board regarding favorable recommendation on the proposed zoning and ordinance amendment to Chapter 650 zoning of the code relative to definitions of affordable housing in the Marlborough Village District. Order number 2223-100-8721.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the communication.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the Planning Board communication. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Orem.
Thank you. I'll make it quick, but I was glad to see the planning board recognizing the cost for parking and suggested that we go at $40,000 if we're to substitute what should be on site. And I thought they made some great recommendations. Hopefully they'll be carried through. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Orem. Any other discussion on the motion? On the motion to accept and place on file, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed, 10-0. Agenda item number 9.
Communication from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Division of Banks regarding notification of public comment period on the license application of Ventura Enterprises LLC DBA Changer Check to operate a check cashing business at 147 Main Street. There was communication from the Code Enforcement Officer Pamela Wilderman regarding request for opinion on, from Division of Banks on Ventura Enterprises LLC, 147 Main Street.
Councilor Dumas.
Thank you, Mr. President. My father actually owns a check cashing business, so in conflict of interest, I will recuse myself from this vote.
Thank you, Councilor Dumas. We'll let the record reflect that you will not be participating in this manner. Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to move that the President send a letter to the Massachusetts Division of Banks asking them to deny the license application.
Motion made and seconded for the President to send a letter to the Division of Banks in opposition to the request. Any discussion on the motion? Councilor Orem.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one, and I see what Pam Wilderman wrote about how she thought Main Street was not envisioned to have 4 check cashing facilities. I don't know if that's enough weight to stand on. I may suggest it's up to the council that we have this viewed by our city solicitor to make sure we can justify that type of need based on what Pam said, Pam Wilderman.
So again, this is just they're asking for our opinion. They don't have to do anything without opinion. They're soliciting, they've got a similar request to the mayor's office. We've asked code enforcement to give us their insights, and we're just acting on what the code enforcement folks have said, which makes sense. What we're failing to point out is that these folks have not been a very good actor in the past, which is one of the issues that got code enforcement involved.
Okay, that I truly understand. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Orem. On the motion for me to send a letter to the Division of Banks in opposition to the request, all those in favor? Opposed? It is approved 10-0. Agenda item number 10. 10.
No, I had to recuse myself. There's only 9 counselors that voted on that,
I'm
not 10.
surrounded by empty seats.
Yeah, but you did recuse yourself.
Right, which makes the total 9.
Laura's not here.
Oh, 9 votes. I'm thinking agenda 9. Okay, 9-0 with 1 accused. Now I'm with you. I got it. Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you, Councilor Doucette. Agenda item 10. Now I'm back on business.
Petition from Massachusetts Electric to install underground electric conduits, including necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures on Donald Lynch Boulevard, beginning at a point approximately 550 feet northeast of the center line of the intersection of Donald Lynch Boulevard and Bigelow Street, and to install underground facilities near 200 Donald Lynch Boulevard.
Councilor Landis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Please refer to Public Service Committee and also set a date for a public hearing.
Motion made and seconded to refer to the Public Service Committee, and we'll set a public hearing for November 27th. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is going to Public Service, and we'll have a public hearing on November 27th with a vote of 10-0. Agenda item 11.
Communication from resident regarding opposition and proposed zoning amendment to Chapter 650 zoning to amend Section 22 Retirement Community Overlay Districts, Order Number 23-100-8964.
Councilor Roby.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to accept and place on file the additional opposition letter from a resident.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the communication. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The communication is filed 10-0. Agenda item number 12.
Minutes of boards, commissions, and committees.
Mr. President?
Councilor Doucette.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Motion to accept and place on file the minutes of the boards, commissions, and committees.
Motion made and seconded to accept and place on file the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? The minutes are filed 10-0. Agenda item 13.
Claims.
Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move to refer the claim to the legal department.
Motion made and seconded to refer the claims to the legal department. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Claims are going to legal 10-0. Reports of committees. Councilor Landis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our Public Service Committee meeting met on November 6th. We brought up 2 agenda items. The first one, order number 22-1008553, communications from the Planning Board with their recommendation and acceptance of Gig and Ring as a public way. Second item was order number 22-1008691, communications from the city solicitor, assistant city solicitor, also accepting of Gig and Lane. This is a order that sat, I guess, almost 2 years in committee, and we were very pleased to get it out, get it in order. And, you know, the mayor even sent us a letter about this particular subdivision, and he recommended that the city council, you know, get out and take a look. And my committee did. Councilor Navin, who is located in 6. So we all did what we wanted to do. So we did get the city engineer involved, and engineer DePercio did give us a letter indicating that he supports the approval of making this a public way. He did mention, and that the mayor had mentioned in his letter, there was a few cracks in the street, which we were well aware of, but they will be taken care of. The city engineer feels when we accept the street, and then when they do the crack filling this spring, Mr. President. So I think we should be all right. So the committee, Public Service Committee, did vote 3-0 to approve the acceptance of Gig Way as a public way. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Landis. Councilor Irish.
Thank you, Mr. President. Motion to advertise the tax classification public hearing for December 4th, 2023 at 8 p.m.
Motion made and seconded to advertise the tax classification hearing for December 4th at 8 o'clock. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Bless you. Opposed? It carries. It'll be advertised. We'll have the clerk advertise that for December 4th at 8 o'clock, 10-0. Anything else?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Also, a public service announcement. Finance Committee will be meeting on November 20th at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Councilor Roby?
Thank you, Mr. President. The Urban Affairs and Housing Committee met on November 6th. We had 2 items on our agenda. The first was order number 23-100-8965, a communication from Attorney Falk on behalf of Somewhere Landscape Incorporated to construct and operate a landscaper's yard at Airport Industrial Park, 59 Airport Boulevard. I opened the meeting by letting the committee members know of 2 changes made to the draft decision. One in the finding of facts, of dates. Attorney Falk reviewed the draft decision, stating it was similar to the one used for another landscaper at the same site. I read through the conditions listed in the draft, and Councilor Doucette moved to recommend approval of the draft granted decision and the conditions for Somewhere Landscaping. Motion was seconded and approved 5-0. I will be asking for suspension, so this can be referred to the solicitor. We also took up order number 23-100-8941, a communication from Attorney Gemma Cashman on behalf of Trammell Crow Company regarding the proposed amendment to City Code Chapter 650 zoning by adding a new section to create the Sassaville Way Residential Zoning Overlay District. We had some discussion. This is laying on the table. It is on the agenda for a meeting coming up on Wednesday at 7:30. If we don't get anything from the planning board at tonight's meeting, it will continue to lay on the table until we get that. So
Okay,
a suspension.
The Urban Affairs Chair has asked for suspension of the rules. All those in favor of the suspending the rules? Opposed? The rules suspended, 10-0. Councilor Roby.
I move to refer order number 23-100-8965 to the solicitor to be put in proper form for our next agenda.
Motion made and seconded to refer the item to the solicitor put in proper format for our next agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? It is carried 10-0 to go to the solicitor to put in proper format. Any other reports of committees? Hearing none. Agenda item 14.
Order number 23-100-8962, proposed easement for a parcel of land at South Bolton and Main Streets, map 70, parcel 126, in addition to a gift acceptance from the Marlborough Historical Society. Recommendation of the Legislative and Legal Affairs Committee is to approve.
Mr. President.
Councilor Perlman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll move the recommendation of committee to approve.
May I, excuse me?
Yep, I'm sorry, Council Landers will abstain from participating in that. So the motion's been made and seconded to approve the recommendation of the Legislative and Legal Affairs Committee.
Correct.
Which is to approve. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? It is approved 9-0 with 1. Right. See, I can be taught. It just takes a while sometimes. One is approved 9-0 with 1 abstention. Councilor Dumas.
Move to adjourn, please.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned at 8:18. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.